How give some advice to Zelensky? How can he best advise? How can he get Donald Trump on side for this?
Well, I think what
Go on. You
well,
stuck with the character now. How come you're red and I'm really pale and white? Can we fix that?
how should Zelensky go about convincing Donald Trump? Jesus Christ, that's not a question to ask me. I mean,
Why not?
I'd have thought
Can you not put yourself in someone else's shoes? Can you not steel man
flatter
someone else's argument?
flatter his ego. I think what Zelensky's done over the last few months has been interesting because he keeps talking about peace, um, and
I'm so
as a way.
pale. Why is that? Do you noticing this?
Well, I am now, as is everyone else. I didn't before.
Why
Maybe
is this?
wear darker colors or something, or
Okay.
yellow. Um, Zelensky's been saying, look, the way to get peace is through showing strength, which obviously there's some truth to that. But he's also like,
Which bits was the truth?
well, I guess you can cre create peace through, well, peace through strength is a cliche, a slogan of the Republican Party going back years that Trump's
Oh,
been
right.
using.
That's good.
But they also kind of mean it. But I don't think anyone really meant peace through strength, and specifically the weaker player within the war massively escalating with nuclear capable by developing nuclear capable
I don't think
missiles.
that the nuclear
That's not
capability.
peace through strength,
I don't think
but
that's
that's what he'll try and sell it to Donald Trump
the
as.
issue. Isn't the nuclear capabilities? It's the range, right?
I don't know. I mean, like in theory, at least, they could stick nuclear warheads on the Tomahawk missiles. So
Well, yeah, but they could.
that's why the Russians might be a bit like, well,
No, but
we've
no,
got a
I
missile
think.
coming over. Maybe it's got a nuclear warhead on it. So
Well, I
maybe we
think
need to
it's the
retaliate
fact that
against
they
that
can
now.
reach Moscow and stuff. I don't think anyone's talking
Yeah,
about putting nuclear warheads on them.
no, but
I mean,
in
apart from
theory they
you, I
could.
mean, you're saying it sort of on the one hand, you're sort of arguing against it, but you're also sort of planting the seed. I see at the same
Uh,
time 'cause no one else has thought about that.
well, the
It'd be
sea.
terrible if they put nuclear warheads on it, which they are capable of taking, by the way.
I guess they probably wouldn't have the technical capability, but I guess the point is that
Well, I
those
think the
kind of
Americans would be actually involved in. The Americans would
they'd
just be
have to be,
doing it
yeah.
for them anyway.
Yes, and this is what and this is, I guess, is why, from the Russian perspective, that this has been a failure, this war, because ultimately you're probably going to end up with the thing that they specifically said that they didn't want 3.5 years ago, which is having NATO, the biggest NATO weapons stationed in Ukraine, because it's ended up provoking that kind of retaliation from the West, which is just bad all round. But I think that's the sort of old-fashioned theory, at least, is that if a missile is nuclear capable, then when it comes into your country, you have to assume that it's got a nuclear warhead on it, in which case you have to retaliate immediately. I don't suppose they
Is that
will.
is that like just common knowledge? I don't know.
Well,
I actually don't know.
I mean, that would be like standard Cold War
Yeah, that's
approach,
true.
I
I mean,
think.
we are. It does seem crazy when you think about the way that people talked about the Cold War and the delicacies of that compared to
Yeah,
now. It's
we
just
don't give a fuck
unbelievable.
anymore. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's the thing. I mean, the thing is, because the reason for that, and sorry if it's really obvious, but it's because if you've got a massive missile like a Tomahawk missile landing on
Also,
Moscow,
is that
you
racist?
can't.
Tomahawk missile.
Yeah, I think it probably is very
Is that
racist.
racist? Right, I'm going to turn
Like
on a light.
like like the Apache helicopters and all sorts of other weapons are
A
often
bit of
named
color. Is
very,
that
very,
better?
very. Oh, you look very healthy. You look like you've
Oh,
just
look
had
at
a great
that.
big pork pie, um, and a glass of orange juice. But I think from a sort of traditional security perspective, you can't just be waiting in a surveillance observation post in Russia and be like, oh, there's a cruise missile coming overhead. Oh, I do hope that it's only packed with TNT instead of a nuclear warhead. I'll just assume it's the first one, it'll probably only kill a few people. Like, so if a country attacks you like that, you
So
know
what are you saying Russia should
traditionally
do?
you'd be like, right, fuck them up.
So they
I'm not saying what Russia should do. I'm saying the traditional the traditional perspective
Well,
would be,
wait,
oh yeah, we have to retaliate to that immediately.
the missiles that
I don't think they will.
the missiles that Russia are firing presumably could hold nukes, couldn't they?
I'm not sure actually of the
Have you even
technical
looked into it?
side of this. I've looked into it a little bit, yeah, but not well enough to do off the cuff on
Well,
a
you seem
fucking
pretty confident.
comedy on a fucking jokey
Oh,
podcast.
it's a jokey podcast. Earlier you were saying it's a serious political podcast, and now it's a jokey podcast. But you
Well,
seem, look,
I've had to
you
accept reality in the last 10 minutes.
very confident, like this is the big problem with Tomahawks. And yet
I
you're not even
believe.
sure what the Russians have been firing.
I
It
think.
just seems like a bias on your side
I,
against what's happened, sort of scrutinizing every movement that the Ukrainians and the US do,
I have
and
to
how
make
the
some
Russians
educated guess.
might retaliate to that, but not really thinking about the Russians. Because the Russians fire those really fast ones. Can they not be nukes?
The Oreshnik ones, I think
Yeah.
they can be nuclear capable, yeah. So Ukraine could be like, well, they could be nuclear capable. We need
I
to
guess they're so
retaliate.
fast that
But
there's no time to even
there's
think
no
about
time
it.
to
They've
think
already,
about it anyway.
well, they've already dropped, and they're definitely not. So nothing to worry
Yeah,
about
yeah.
there.
Oh, that's just landed and destroyed a block. Whew.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Now I've got like
I
bags.
believe that the ATACMS that Ukraine have been using are not really nuclear capable. I think it needs to be quite a big missile, and that's one of the reasons why about a year ago, when Biden was thinking about, well, basically Zelensky asked maybe just over a year ago, asked the Biden administration, "I want to have Tomahawk missiles," and the Biden administration leaked that discussion and then laughed about it because they said that's absolutely ridiculous. We're not doing that. Those weapons are basically the weapons are too big. So that was their way of saying no. But of course, this is all mission creep. You know, this is why escalation can happen even when no one really wants to escalate, because everyone needs to be seen to be doing something. And a
So,
year on, here we are
so
doing
it's not
another unthinkable.
that Trump is completely 180'd, or maybe was just always on the side of Ukraine, and that
I,
actually the Democrats were the responsible ones all along.
it's impossible to know because we don't know what the Democrats would have done. But I would say that there's been a steady mission creep
Yeah, no, I would
and
agree.
escalation that's gone on for the last 3.5 years. So I imagine that we'd be in a very similar position now.
Yeah, no, I
As we
agree.
were, but probably without talking, which is at least
I'm
one
just
thing
joshing with you.
that Donald Trump has done is that the Biden administration did not seem willing to talk about the Middle East or about Ukraine in terms of diplomacy. Whereas even though Donald Trump is being comparably escalatory, he is at least also combining that with some kind of discussion and
Oh,
some
it's
kind of
great. So we
agreement.
can move into Middle East. It's great.
I think we've already been in the mid. If you're talking
No, I
about
mean,
our
like,
country,
shut
we've
up.
already been there.
This podcast was a great little. That was well done.
All right, you want to market this podcast to the Middle East? We fucking dead in
No,
3
I'm
minutes.
saying that we have transitioned the conversation from Ukraine to the Middle East seamlessly.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were being a professional podcaster there.
Well, I wasn't because I was pointing it out. But anyway, Anthony Blinken said that he was heavily involved in that. So it was a cross-party consensus on that one, Matt, not Trump.
He was very heavily involved in what? In which one? The
In
Middle East.
the peace negotiations in the Middle East. The ceasefire.
Anthony Blinken was he? I didn't notice that.
That's what he claims. Nobody noticed it, but he said he was there all
Yeah.
along. Yeah.
He plays
Anyway, the
electric guitar,
ceasefire
doesn't
is a disaster, isn't it? Blinken plays the electric guitar
he? Yeah,
like Tony
yeah,
Blair.
yeah, yeah.
Have you seen that clip of Jamie Dimon at
Uh-uh.
Davos? There's some guys doing a documentary on sort of gotcha documentary on all these people at Davos, and he gets a meeting with Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon's just with his entourage, and they've already communicated with this journalist. He didn't know he was like a journalist, and so they've arranged to meet. And the journalist comes over. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then just in the corner, he's like, "You should meet my friend Tony." It's like, you guys have got a lot in common. You used to both be in rock bands. Yeah, Tony was in a rock band before he was prime minister. And Tony Blair sort of sheepishly comes out as like just sort of at the back of Jamie Dimon's entourage. It's just like some piece of trash that follows Jamie Dimon around. It's an interesting window into the world. Anyway,
They could be Tony Blinken and Tony Blair could be the Tony Bs, and they could both play lead guitar and fuck up
the Middle East.
international politics.
Well, Tony Blair's going to be involved, or is he? Who knows? In this, he's going to be the vice.
I like it how it's how awkwardly did they decide to name the thing that's going to run Gaza Board of Peace. Why did they call it the Peace Board? Because it just sounds like they're fucking bored of peace. If there's anyone who's bored of peace, it's fucking Tony Blair. He's been bored of peace since 1998 when he fucking bombed fucking Iraq for the first time.
Is Tony Blair going to be involved or not?
That's what they say.
I feel like they're just...
He needs something to do, Daniel.
He's not. He's really busy. He's got his fucking finger in every pie. I don't think he needs... It's like Peter Mandelson becoming ambassador. It's not like these people were just hanging around. We've got these massive organizations they're running, and then they're also just then given these plum jobs anyway. But I think they're just putting that forward so that, because it's obviously the worst person you could ever imagine, so that when they bring in someone else,
so when they bring in someone else, they'll be like, oh yeah, he's fine, yeah. It's Mandelson.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure it's that much of a plum job. Can you imagine living in Gaza? Well, I think they're going to do it from Egypt, aren't they?
So why is he taking
being in charge?
So what is Tony Blair?
Probably loads of money and loads
I think
of
it must be I don't think he's like, well, it's a tough job, but I'm going to step up. Nobody else is able to do it.
I don't think I'd like it. It'd be like being the Archbishop of Canterbury in Blackadder times, in medieval times. It's like you're bound to get killed by someone at some point within minutes of taking the position.
Immediately.
Exactly. But it could be anyone, any of the factions of anything. It's just a ticket to assassination.
I quite like Tony Blair. He gets a missile hits the convention center in Brighton during Labour conference to take out Tony Blair because he's the envoy of whatever. And Starmer like looks over, oh, that was Israel, and she's like, oh, okay, clear that up. Nothing to see here. Let's keep going, keep the show on the road.
Yeah. Don't criticize that missile. If you criticize that missile that's exploding in your face, it's anti-Semitic. Yeah, what was the question? Where were we at?
We were just doing breaking news. We could do other news.
Yeah. What was the breaking news then?
Tomahawk missiles.
No,
the Middle East peace thing that's going so well. That Donald Trump has done. Well done.
Yes, although just to come back to the Tomahawk thing, I think you're right that the major issue really with it is that that even without nuclear, because it probably they won't want to do that. But I still think those missiles can cause quite a lot of damage. They're, I think, quite a few.
Yeah, I know.
Times bigger than these other fucking things, and longer range, as you were saying. And so you could end up.
That is the problem, is that they'll cause a lot of damage. Yeah, and they'll hit Moscow.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what will happen then, because what I don't understand is that presumably Russia could massively escalate this. And I don't mean in terms of hitting London and places. I just mean in like wiping out Ukraine.
I think so, but I do think that there are supply problems as well. Like, I don't think anyone actually knows. From when I looked it up, no one really knows how many Oreshnik missiles they've got, for example. Right. But presumably they've got a factory that makes a few. But they can't just make endless hundreds of these things. Well,
this Tomahawk thing can hit some of the factories that are making the missiles. I mean, Russia's so big that, I mean, the range of these missiles is huge, but it's only about half of Russia. They could still make factories further and further back. And then, I mean, it'd take them forever to get them over.
That's the way to reassure the Russians. Don't worry, only half of your country's in range.
Well,
I mean, just make your missiles in the east of Russia, can't you?
Well, I mean, it is a.
Is that how I'm going to try and commit? Well, I try and my advice to Zelensky
you compare it to Ukraine,
flattered.
Where all of Ukraine is within the range of any missile that you could make, right? Even these incredibly long-range missiles actually can't hit. There are targets. They could move things into parts of Russia that they can't hit. That's
Yeah.
that's why it's so
Why
asymmetrical.
don't
I
you
think
move Moscow
they
to
should
the
move
other
Moscow. Well, I
side?
always thought Moscow's too close to Europe.
Apparently, Petersburg is built on a bog, so like constantly sinking. So maybe they could move that one.
That's like that castle in uh, Monty Python, where he builds a castle on the bog. They said you could never build this castle on a bog, but we built it anyway, and it sank. So we built it again, and it sank. So we built it a third time, and it sank. So we built it a fourth time, and that, son, is the strongest castle in the land, and that's what you're going to inherit.
But,
We've only got
uh,
6 minutes left of this.
oh my word.
I don't know where we go
Uh,
from there.
um. mm, uh, uh,
So they
uh,
built St. Petersburg on a bog, and then it sank. So build the city again, and then it sank. We built the city again, and they got hit by Tomahawk missiles. So we sent it all the way east, but it was too close to Alaska, so it sank.
yeah, doesn't sound like a very stable situation to be in, does it? But uh,
What's this?
I think
What are we talking about now?
well, the whole thing, the Tomahawk thing, is a bit of a worry in it. I don't know. I
I know,
think,
but you got to stop worrying, Matt. Every
but
week,
you're also, yeah, I know. I'll stop
there's a
worrying.
worry
No,
every
don't
week.
yeah, let's just forget about it. Sorry, guys. No need to worry about
It's
it.
like one of those shitty Netflix shows where they keep dragging out, and so at the end of every episode, there has to
Yeah,
be like another cliffhanger.
yeah,
I know that that's going to be. It's like Batman, the old series with Adam West. Like they're always in at the very end of the
mm,
episode, they're in a position like there's no way out. They're in this
yeah,
ridiculous conundrum. There's just seemingly there's nothing they can do, and then the next episode it's resolved immediately, so they can start
yeah,
a new episode. And I think it's
yeah,
been like that for ages, right? And
yeah,
as you can see, nothing's happened in Ukraine. Nobody's been killed. There's
yeah.
barely anything. It's just been fine the whole time. And it's just
Yeah,
all being
it's
talk,
just like
talk,
the end
talk.
of it's just like the end of the Batman in the 60s,
Yeah,
like you
it's
say.
just the end of every week. The
Every week is like
Ukrainians,
they're trapped in a cellar with loads of hissing sticks of dynamite.
yeah.
And then it begins at the next episode, and then
And
it's
it's like, oh,
like,
I've got
"Don't-
something on my utility belt that can put out all of these hissing dynamite sticks.
oh, I know what it is. It's a telephone, so that I can just ring and make a really basic, obvious diplomatic agreement that could have been done years and years and
It's
years ago."
just one battle after another, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, that was a shit film. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
Leonardo
I watched
DiCaprio.
your review as well. I completely agree with it.